Hey y'all, I'm so excited that I am bringing Coffee Chats with Kat back, and this time around we're doing it on YouTube. It's just going to be so much fun. We have so many awesome guest experts already joining me. Megan is here today, and it's going to be awesome. She is my biz bestie, so it was the perfect one to kick off the return of this series with. And we have a lot of really good stuff to talk to you guys about today. She and I love to talk business strategy, and we thought talking about lead gen quizzes would be a really juicy topic to talk about. That's just not talked about a lot in our industry right now. So, okay, before we dive in though, Megan, tell everyone a little bit more about you and about Megan Martin Creative.
Hey friends, I am so excited to be here. Thank you, Kat. So hold on a second. I need to let go of my professional voice and and be cool again.
Right. We're just, hanging out, chatting.
I know. Jeremy always tells me that I get into my professional speaking voice. He's like, that's not your real voice.
Your pitch voice. This is what we do.
Okay. Hi, I'm Megan, friends. So I own Megan Martin Creative, and it is my little rainbow home on the net where I am a conversion-focused website designer. I help my clients like Kat create homes on the web that really tell their unique story in terms of either themselves or their brand or their business and how they are the best fit for their ideal customers. I also sell show website templates. That's kind of really what kicked off my whole conversion-focused brand, I guess you could say, is when I built my website templates. I really built them from that angle. And since then, it's just sort of taken off and been really fun to help other people and launch a course and all the cool things that come along with it.
All the things the cool kids do, right? Megan is the website designer behind all three of my websites. So I believe in what she does, y'all. It's so good. And I'm going to include all links below. So they'll be below this video in the YouTube description to you guys. So if you want to connect with Megan further, and I know we're talking about quizzes, so I'll be sure to include both her quiz and my quiz down below too, so you guys can take a peek at all those. Okay, so Megan, you recently launched a quiz.
Yeah.
And actually, wait, before I do that, let me just back up for anybody who's scratching their head wondering, lead gen, what are we talking about here? When we're talking about lead generation, we're talking about utilizing a quiz in lieu of a PDF or a guide or a worksheet. So you're utilizing a quiz as an opt-in or a lead magnet to grow your email list. Mm-hmm. Megan and I have both found really awesome success in utilizing quizzes in our own business. Mine's been up for almost 2 years now, which is crazy. Megan's is a little bit newer to the scene, but still doing well. And with her conversion background, she has just that strategy behind it. So utilizing quizzes to grow your email list so that more potential customers are finding your brand and then therefore finding your products. So that's just a little in a nutshell
that was good.
What we're talking about with lead gen. I feel we need to disclaimer that so people are I don't really know what these girls are talking about. Okay, so you recently launched your quiz.
Yep.
And it's so great and so much fun. And I would love for you to tell people a little bit more about your specific quiz and your vision behind why a quiz, why not making that content into a PDF or a guide or something like that.
Yeah. For me, the quiz started from a place of I had just launched my course. I launched a course last year in September called Websites That Convert. And it was basically if you don't hire me as your designer or you don't buy one of my templates, how can I help you get this strategy behind my designs? So it helps other people who just maybe don't even like my style or whatever. So I launched that course and the course did really well, but I got a ton of questions during launch week of that course, a ton of questions of people who just weren't sure if the course was the right fit for them. So I would get questions like, is this only for service providers or is this for product shop owners? I would get questions like, I have been in business for 5 years. I know my stuff. Is this going to help me or is this more for beginners? So I would get these questions that were really good. And so I answered them over and over and over that week. But really, as soon as the course launch ended, I thought, okay, I have some work to do in my own website and my own customer journey to kind of prime my potential customers.
Yeah.
So at that point, when I realized I needed to shift my website a little bit to better help connect with people and people to know, hey, I am in the right spot if I come to Megan Martin Creative.
Right.
I realized that I needed some sort of lead magnet that would connect with people, with different people. They're all my ideal customers, but they all have unique situations, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, how can I create an opt-in that's talking to, 5 different people at one time? Well, that's not possible. As like a PDF guide, it is possible, but at the same time, like I teach the rule of 1, which is a time-tested copywriting rule, that if you're gonna speak to someone, only speak to one person at a time, right? And so if I'm trying to create a PDF or some sort of freebie download that's trying to talk to 5 different people at one time, it's going to essentially like make my messaging not as powerful, right? Like if I'm trying to talk to product and service at the same time. So immediately I realized, okay, quiz is the best way to create resources for these people and connect with these people on their specific level, because I could auto-populate content and speak directly to that person as opposed to trying to like pool them all into one little freebie download, if that makes sense. So that's like where the quiz idea came from. And so I basically decided, okay, hey, here's the strategy right here for how to build a quiz that converts. It's how can you connect the dots between what you sell and the person that you're talking to. So for me, I had to answer the biggest questions that came up over and over and over again during that launch question, or that launch period, immediately right off the bat when somebody lands on my website. And the quiz is such a powerful tool to make that happen.
I love that. So it really kind of boils down to, yes, we can use quizzes when we have just one ideal client, but quizzes are particularly really powerful when you have multiple ideal clients and you're trying to speak to all of them. But just like you said, we can't just like blast out one PDF that talks to like 7 different people. Like that is really confusing and overwhelming for our ideal client. That's what we did with a Creative at Heart quiz. Our quiz is geared towards various like levels of business. So whether you're like in the beginning stage, whether you're in like that go-getter, like kind of that like 2 to 4 year like hustle stage, maybe you've graduated onto the 5+ year, you're starting to like scale your business. Like we have multiple different types of creatives that follow our brand, and we wanted to speak to all of them. We wanted to give resources to the baby business owner. We wanted to give resources to the woman who is scaling. And so a quiz allows us to help them filter through and figure out where they are, and then get really incredible resources at the end based on their specific season. So definitely a really powerful way to do that with quizzes. I love it a lot.
And I think you can still create a quiz even if you only say like have one ideal client. But for example, one of my course students has a quiz, and she sells handbags, like luxury leather handbags. It's amazing.
That's crazy.
I love her story. She has a quiz, and she technically has one ideal client, somebody who wants these luxury leather hand goods, or made goods. But even your one ideal client, within that pool of people, they have different preferences. So a quiz still works, even if you are only talking to one specific group of people. You can really like hone in on their preferences, and based on the offers or the products that you sell, a quiz can really like say, hey, if this is your preference, serve it up. This is exactly what you need. You don't need to look at my 6 different offerings. Just look at this offering, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So did you find that when you were creating your quiz, did you start with like, okay, here's the results that I know, like, here's my ideal client, like, here's all 5 types or however many there are, and then you built the questions like kind of backwards?
Yes. Absolutely. I think that's the key to building a quiz that works. First of all, I think even stepping back one step further than there, it's like, what is the goal of even creating a quiz? I think quizzes kind of like came onto the scene, I don't know, a couple years ago. It's really when it like sort of blew up in popularity, right? Like right around the time of a few months before you launched your quiz is when I feel like quizzes really started to take off. And a lot of people, myself included, I just created a quiz just to see how it works. And like, I had an older quiz before that absolutely had no goal attached to it. And so it didn't really convert that well because there was nothing, there was no strategy behind it, right?
Right.
And I think a lot of people still sort of do that. They create a quiz because it looks really fun, and like all the articles say, hey, it's like Cosmopolitan or BuzzFeed. It's really fun. Go do it. But if there's actually no real goal, no real sales goal, let's be clear, behind or like at the back end of the quiz, then the quiz is just for fun's sake, and it's not going to actually move the needle for your business. So for me, it was, okay, I want to connect the dots of people who come to my door. I want to help you create a website that converts. It's either going to be you take my course or you buy a template. That was the goal for my quiz. And so from there, so I started at that point. The next step was the results. Absolutely start from the end, work backwards. I had to answer those questions. Who is the course for? It's for service-based business owners. It's for product-based business owners. It's for different levels of those people. Yeah. And it's also for people who are eager to start a business, or eager to have a website, but aren't there yet. Right. So I had all of these range of questions from people that I really needed to answer right away. And so now that I have these results, I could, like you just said, build the questions backwards. How can I ask questions that help get somebody to the right result?
Right. And I also think it's really smart what you did of thinking about like, what are FAQs that my people have already? Because so many times we just assume like, oh, our people are going to ask this question, or they're wondering this, or they want to know this. And like, we can't assume that. Like, we need to know for sure. I want some data to back that up. And so utilizing what did people ask you during launch week of the course? Okay, what are people asking you about templates? Like, how are they already navigating through, like, does this work for me? Does this one work for me? Like, what does that mean? And you can utilize that information and then pop it into quiz questions as well, which is really powerful.
Yeah, it was. And I think you could try to build a quiz without having that information, but you're probably at some point going to need to go back and edit your questions or edit your results to really cater towards what people are actually asking you.
Absolutely. I also think that it can be really interesting just within overall brand messaging to make sure that results of the quiz are then part of your overall brand messaging just for your business in general. So just utilizing that language more and more. So like, as people are finding your brand, they're taking the quiz, they're getting to know you more, they're getting to know the products that you offer, they're getting free resources because of the results of the quiz, and they're constantly being planted seeds of, this is Megan's brand voice, this is Kat's brand voice, this is whoever's, and this is how they are really just like indoctrinating them, like how we're indoctrinating them into our brand, make them know like, this is what we're here to help you with, like come join us, like even more.
Absolutely. So screen share to show like an example of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Screen share for you. Okay. So I think you and I do similar things in terms of like our brand messaging, what you're talking about. Can you see my screen right now?
Yep, we can.
You see a video?
Yes.
Okay. So what Kat you were just talking about was so smart. So essentially same thing for you when you hit a result of one of your quiz pages, right? You start telling language. So for example, one of my quiz results is this: you're building a service-based business. That is the result. And the key word is building. I have different terms. I have eager to start, I have building, and I have growing. Those are like my key terms in these quiz results. And you'll see these words over and over again. Building. First step when you're building. Like it continues to be talked about. So then similar concept to what you even do with Creative at Heart is like, okay, now on social media, you might put a post out, hey, like, are you the CEO? Or, like your quiz results. For me, it's on my resources page. It goes back to the same exact terminology. I'm eager to start. I'm building my brand. I'm growing my business. On the back end of the quiz, when people are starting to get emails from me, they're hearing this language over and over and over again, which is so powerful to connect the dots. And you do a really good job of doing that too within the Creative at Heart brand. And it really makes people feel like I'm a part of something, and Megan understands where I am now, and can deliver like personalized content and information to me that's going to actually be helpful in this stage of my business or my life or whatever it is that you are doing or targeting or whatever.
Absolutely. It's all about like taking some of that confusion out of it too. You know,
True.
like if they're just constantly hearing like I'm building, but like, yes, Megan gets me. She knows where I am in business and she's trying to help me keep building. Like it just is like reinforcing that over and over and over again. So yeah. I love that. I'm really glad that we that wasn't on the initial list of questions, but caveated, and I love it.
But it's so smart. It's so smart to connect the dots. If you're going to take all this work to build a quiz and it's not, I mean, you can do it easy. Like I said, I've done it before and there was no strategy and there was no quiz result pages. I would not suggest doing it that way.
Right.
But if you do it this way, if you take the time to build a really solid strategy around it, then you might as well take the time to connect these dots across your whole brand messaging strategy.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, so we touched on this a little bit, but if someone is creating their own quiz, which obviously we hope that anybody watching, like we hope you guys are thinking about creating a quiz, that's why you're here. But what are some of like the first things that they should do? So maybe the first like 1 to 3 things they should do. And I know you talked about like, first of all, you need to know the end goal. Like, so for you, it was course templates, like that's the end goal, like that's what that is. So what are some additional things that like you would want somebody to consider when jumping into like quiz creation?
I would say write out your results. Almost like what I did was literally, I'm not like a typing girl. I'm like a write with a pen and paper girl. I'm old school. Like just get a blank piece of paper out and write all your results, whatever that's going to be. And then like a table, put a line underneath it. And then under each one of those results, start writing basically descriptors of what that result means or what that person is or what that preference is. What does that mean to be, for example, building a service-based business owner? What does that mean? It means they're probably 1 to 3 years in business. Maybe they're probably under the $75,000 a year mark. They obviously sell services, like right. These are like descriptors, really easy things to do. You're not like trying to make up questions. You're literally just saying, who is this person and what does this mean to be X result, right? And that is going to help you reverse engineer your questions. So then you can see, I'm just going to share again because it's easier than trying to say all this. Do you see my thing?
Yes, we do.
For example, my first question is, how long have you been in business? I know that in order to get the result that I need to know that question because I just wrote that as one of my descriptors, right? So I'm 1 to 3 years. That's building a service-based business owner right there. And then this like concept continues on the whole way. And all of these questions are literally just built because I wrote descriptors about who these people are.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is obviously get a tool that's going to help you create a quiz and give you the data that you need. And Interact is such a great tool for that. That's what I use. They allow you to correlate your quiz results to your quiz questions to your results super easy. And what I really, really love about Interact too is, and even creating a quiz, is it gives you very clear data about who it is that is in your audience, right? Mm-hmm. Like we make a lot of assumptions about who's following us and what they like and what they want from us, but really we can't know that unless we ask them these questions.
Right.
And even when we do sometimes, like, for example, just send out a one-time survey once a year, you're going to only hit a small pool of the people that are going to open that email or open that survey and actually fill out the questions. So you're still getting a biased result, where if you have something that's like a quiz that is open at all times, 24/7, for however long you have it up, you're going to start getting like clear data about who it is that is actually following you and buying from you. So for me, it's like super eye-opening to me that the number one is building a service-based business. Like I would have assumed people would follow me who want to learn, digital products or templates or whatever. That would have been my first assumption because that's what I'm talking about all day, every day. But really, the majority results are showing me that service-based business owners are the ones following me. So it helps me even beyond the quiz to cater to these people and to make sure my messaging is talking mostly towards service-based business owners, as opposed to trying to, again, hit that whole pool of people.
Right. And then
it's just so neat.
Yeah, I love it. We use Interact for ours as well. And even just because I'm not the tech girl. So like Megan is all about like the tech and the conversion. And for me, like I just get like, oh, I feel like I get like paralyzed in that situation. I'm like, oh my gosh, like what are we even gonna do? But for me, someone who's not techie or tech savvy, like this works so well for me to be able to go in to clearly see, okay, how is our quiz converting? Like, is it working well? Are there certain questions that are like hang up questions? Are people dropping off at a certain point and we need them to finish the quiz? And then exactly what Megan said, like being able to see those results and then knowing even more like, okay, these are my people. Like, this is who I need to talk to. So if your people weren't who you thought your people were, then it allows you to shift your brand messaging, knowing who's already there, or know, okay, who am I looking for still, right? Like if you're like, okay, well, I really wanted to launch a course for women looking to leave their full-time job, but the majority of your people are 3 to 5 years in business and have already left their full-time job. Like now you know, okay, I need to like shift my train of thought and either scratch that course, like not go in that direction because I don't have those people, or I need to figure out where to find those people and how to start speaking to those people more so they feel like they can come to me more. So it's just really eye-opening on like both sides of the spectrum, which I really like a lot. So
the other thing that I think is really interesting is beyond just like results-based questions, you can actually pepper in questions into your quiz that will give you other data that you might not have known previously. For example, like one of my questions is, hold on, let me like click through so I can like see how I worded this. It's something about, hold on. Oh, okay, here. What isn't working with your current website? And then I say choose as many as you need and then click next. That question, it does correlate with the results because I've tried to figure out like if you were this person or this level, this is probably the problems that you're dealing with.
Right.
But the reality of that question is it actually gives me really powerful like understanding of what people that are coming to my door are struggling with. So beyond knowing, are you a service-based business owner or are you a product-based business owner? I can know like a majority of people are struggling with a website that doesn't visually feel like themselves. So I can create content now that is going to absolutely help people to fix and tweak their website so that it visually feels like them. Like that's so powerful to know even beyond the results of what a quiz can bring you.
Absolutely. Because we are constantly wanting, I mean, you and I talk about this like with our own coaching clients and like at the intensive we host together, but we want to ask our people. So poll your people, like Insta story polls, surveys to your email list. Like we want to know. So in a quiz like this, like you had we saw your stat, it was like 600 and some in the last month. That's 600 and some people answering that question, telling you
for sure
what they're struggling with. That's way more than you're going to get probably when you send out to your email list, right? Because people aren't going to take the time. Let's face it. Like, yes, we still want to do that. I'm not knocking it. Like, not that many people are going to take the time. Whereas in the quiz, if you just pop in that one question in there you go. Like you have it. So that is so, so smart. I love that you did that. Okay, and then I know you already touched on Interact because that was one of the things I just wanted to make sure we brought up in here because for the non-tech people, I know that can be our freeze up, right? It's like, no, but a PDF is so easy. Like I design it real quick or I send it to a designer and then like it's done and I can use that as my lead magnet. And whereas a quiz, there's a little bit more on the back end and it can feel really overwhelming. But I know we both use Interact and have had really great experiences working with the company as a whole and like on the back end. And you obviously were able to embed it and do all the fun, beautiful, pretty things you needed to do. Not the website designer, can't speak to that. But you can do all of the pretty branded things to it too, which is awesome.
I was totally surprised at how easy it was. Like even that first time when I created a quiz, that was I shall never name. Like it's so easy and it's so straight to the point and they like prompt you at every level. Okay, write your questions. Okay, now that you have your questions, fix your correlations of what the questions, the result. And then they're like, okay, here's how you embed it in your site. Everything is just super clear and there's no guessing or coding involved. And it's just, I love it.
Which is awesome. Good.
Yeah.
Good. So I'll make sure Interact is linked below too. So you guys can take a look at Interact if you are just interested in like kind of moving forward with quizzes and thinking about Interact. And of course, I didn't say this before, but as y'all are watching this, if you have questions, please leave them below. I know this isn't live, so when we do air this, I want to make sure that like Megan and I can pop back in, answer your questions, and just help you guys as much as we can as y'all are thinking about quiz strategy, working towards, doing a quiz for your own business. Obviously, we love it, and we love just the back end of it, as well as all of the awesome results that we're seeing because of doing a quiz. So, any last you have to share this about a quiz, Megan, before we get off, or anything that you wanted to kind of wrap up with in terms of quizzes?
Yeah, I would say if you're on the fence and you're is this worth my time? I could just pop in a free download real fast. I would say I'm nerdy, and so I'm constantly looking at what are the industry benchmarks, what are the conversion rates that we need to be shooting for, or not even just be shooting for, but understand how we're doing,
Yeah.
And so it's not super specific to the creative industry, but in the infopreneur space as a whole, and even beyond that, opt-in conversion rate on the internet, the average opt-in conversion rate is 1 to 3%. That is a ridiculous number.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking if 100 people show up on your website, you're going to get one person on your list. That's not very high.
Right. It sounds really sad.
And that's average. That means that there's a lot of people that are below 1%.
Yeah.
So what I want to stress to you is just hear this number. My quiz is converting at currently, if somebody views the quiz, the first question, and then they finish the quiz, it's a 62% conversion rate. That is a ridiculous difference.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they say unicorn status for opt-in conversion rates of free downloads is 11%, which is a huge jump from 1, but
right.
still
from
11 to 62% is a huge jump. And I think people are just really more prone to go through it, because once they take the time, it's commitment and consistency and action right here. Once they take the time to answer all these questions, if they can't get that result, how annoying would that be?
Right.
I feel all day, I just have to know what that was, right?
Right.
So I think it's an interesting blend of commitment and consistency and action of, I just did something, so I want to see what happens as a result of that.
Yeah.
And also it's fun and engaging, and it's educational at the same time. It's just a really powerful way to bring people into the door and make them feel like they are not passively just in your ecosystem as a brand, but they are an active member from the start, which is a really powerful psychological switch.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's so custom. That's why I think I know that we're in a society that's just instant gratification, gimme, gimme, gimme. Yeah. But there's something about the fact that okay, if I take 5 minutes and walk through these 10 questions, Megan is going to tell me exactly what's wrong and how to fix it. Mm-hmm. And the consumer then, just like you said, if they're committing, they're saying, okay, I'm going to take these 5 minutes. I'm going to walk through these. And then Megan has customized this thing for me. So there's just something really powerful about feeling yes, we want instant gratification, but we also want something that's ours. Mm-hmm. And we want to feel seen and heard. And in quizzes, that's what we're doing for our people.
Absolutely.
I love it. Yay, good. Okay, this was so good. So much fun. Thanks for chatting with me and talking all about quizzes. Tell everybody where they can go to find you. And then, like I said, we're definitely going to link your quiz below, and we'll share those links underneath too so they can connect with you more. Yeah, so you can head to meganmartin.net. I'm the, plain Jane Megan, MEGAN. You can head to meganmartin.net to just see everything that, what I'm about and all the offerings that I have, and the quiz is linked there. But Kat, like she said, we'll link it below. And then on Instagram, I'm always sharing TMI, but I know, I love it. I love it. All the bright colors, all the children, like just so many life things happening.
Yeah. You can find me there at Megan Martin Creative, and I would love to connect with you.
That's awesome. Thanks, Megan. All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week for another episode of Coffee Chats with Kat.
Bye.